Barakah de Salah to all our Muslim faithful, and happy holidays to Nigeria this season as we enjoy the blessings of the Lord after much fasting, and now we're relaxing with family, with friends, and of course everyone who has wished us something wonderful during the season. We wish all of them a wonderful celebration. My name is Annie Beniti. Thanks for joining us. Today is a special day, and that is how it's going to be on the press this morning. Indeed, I decided to dedicate today's The Press to the celebration and talk about the Eid-El-Fitre celebration. But again, our main focus, because I've taken a look at the morning papers, if you stay with us, you get to find out that despite the celebration, there is something going on, and today on the press we're going to take a look at that. Despite everything going on in the country, we as Nigerians always find a way to stay happy. For me, Nigeria is the happiest nation on earth. I tell you, we somehow find, the sunny side of life even when it is dark on the other side. There is no dull moment in Nigeria. We just find a way to move on. And like we do on the press this morning, we will still do our usual, which is the weather report, the newspaper, the front pages of the newspaper. We'll still have guests on the show, and the phone lines, yes, will be open, so you can call in and be part of the conversation. Like I love to say it here, and it's the truth. The press was created for you. It was created for Nigerians. It was created to get your voice heard. And today, we want you to call in and be part of the conversation. Wherever you are in Nigeria, call in and let us know how you're celebrating. Call in and let us have a feel of what is going on in your area. Yes, of course, when we read out the front pages report, that is the breaking stories on the front pages of the newspaper. Just call in also, so you pick what you want to talk about. Well, if it's the focus for the day, we'll be very happy to hear your views. All right, let us start the show like we do it right here on the press as we begin with the weather report. And this morning we're jetting off to the southeast as we begin with Imo State. Imo this morning started with 26 degrees, mostly cloudy with highs as much as 33 degrees and lows at 24 degrees. 9 a.m. it's now 28 degrees. By 10 a.m. it's expected to rise as much as 29 degrees. And by 11 a.m. 31 degrees, and by 12 p.m. 32 degrees. Cloudy conditions will continue all day. Wind gusts are up to 16 kilometers per hour. That is the update from Imo on the weather. Moving away from the southeast this morning, let us go straight on now to the northwest. And by that, let us begin with Kano. Kano State this morning started at 26 degrees. By 9 a.m. it went up to 29 degrees. By 10 a.m. is expected to be 31 degrees. 11 a.m. 33 degrees, and by 12 p.m. 35 degrees. You can actually see the sun right there shining so brightly. We have highs at 37 degrees and lows at 23 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy conditions from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. with mostly cloudy conditions expected at 3 p.m. That is the result coming from Kano. Still in the northwest, let us take a look at Kaduna. Kaduna started with 27 degrees, cloudy with highs as much as 35 degrees and lows as low as 25 degrees. 9 a.m. it is now 28 degrees. It is expected to rise to 30 by 10 a.m. 11 a.m. 31 degrees, and by 12 p.m. we should be expecting 33 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy conditions from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. with mostly sunny conditions expected at 5 p.m. Away from the northwest, let us go now to take a look at Abuja. Let us go straight to Abuja. Abuja started with 26 degrees, mostly cloudy, with highs at 34 degrees and lows at 25 degrees. 9 a.m. it's now 27 degrees in Abuja. It is expected to rise to 28 by 10 a.m. and by 11, 30 degrees, and by 12 p.m. 31 degrees. It's expected to be partly cloudy conditions around 6 p.m. Away from Abuja, let us go now to the south of the nation. Port Harcourt started with 27 degrees. By 9 a.m. it has risen to 29 degrees in Port Harcourt. 10 a.m. 30 degrees, and 11 a.m. 32 degrees, and by 12 p.m. it's expected to be 32 degrees. Thunderstorms are expected around 5 p.m. It's going to be mostly cloudy before then, highs at 32 degrees and lows at 25 degrees. So there you have it, weather report for this morning. Again, is the 1st of April. I did forget to wish you happy new month. I'm doing that right now, and we're advising family members to go easy on the tricks for April Fools, because tempers are rising, men are not smiling, so be careful what you plan if you haven't done it yet. In fact, we advise that you don't do it, and if you must, make it subtle, something that will be funny, I tell you. All right, let us move on now to the papers this morning, and we're starting with the Vanguard. The Vanguard this morning has a very sad headline. The screaming headlines just below the mast there says, Uromi residents desert towns over fears of reprisals, arrest. There are a lot of kickers to that story. The font out little, but I'll try to get a hold of one or two. So residents explain what led to mob attack. Panic in Ekboma market over alarm of attack. Governor hits the road, meets Kano governor. The deputy senate president says justice will prevail for victims. Okpawolo. Aggrieved Kano 14 suspects will be taken to Abuja for further interrogation. Anyway, for further read, you can get the full story on page 5 of the Vanguard this morning. Away from that, I was offered 5 billion naira bribe to impeach Fubara COS. Here, there's a rider to that story as Fubara vows to defend Rivers' interest. We have more of that read on page 7. We'll treat people smuggling gangs like terrorists. Will treat people smuggling gangs like terrorists. That story is credited as an international story anyways, from the UK PM. Besides that story, CP, PDP to Tinubu, forget 2027, Nigerians will reject you. That's in politics. We have more of that read on page 9. Then above the mast, petrol. Dangote refinery resumes loading after payment. Just below that story, Chairman Oye gives insight into content issues. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger impose 0.5% levy on goods from Nigeria, other ECOWAS countries. Beside that story, tensions in port as federal government moves to sack terminal operators. There's a lot of story on the front page of the Vanguard. Organized immigration crime, federal government seeks global intelligence sharing. More of that on page 9. Just below that story, federal government has shut Lagos Independence Bridge for 2 months. Wonder why? Then pick up the Vanguard and read. All right, away from the Vanguard, let us take a look at the Nation this morning. The Nation also has the screaming headline similar to that from the Vanguard. Uromi 14, more outrage over killings. There's a pictorial of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria ode to Mr. President, a master of his craft. That's the smiling president as he celebrates his birthday. Well, the spillover of the birthday is still showing, on the pictorial with that smile. Now, above the mast, fear of renewed hostilities grips Ifa-Ilobu communities. Of course, the Rome 14 is still part of the reason. Use $4 trillion US assets to attract FDI. NESG urges federal government. That's in business. Of course, the story on Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso is still on the front page of The Nation this morning. Moving away from The Nation, let us take a look at what the Guardian newspaper is saying this morning. First setback for AFCFTA, ECOWAS protocol over tariff by Sahel states. That story we already read in the two previous papers. And of course, the Edo killings is still here. Kano Governor, NBA insists on compensation amid fears of reprisal. Family suspects foul play, laments son's death in Lagos Road accident. That's away from the Edo story. And still on the Guardian, sustain peace or face dethronement, Adeleke warns monarchs. Sustain peace or face dethronement, Adeleke warns monarchs in warring communities. Imperatives of reforms in import-dependent fishing sector. You can have more of that read on page 4. Mamadu Omokri disagree over propriety of emergency in rivers. All right, still on the Guardian. Forget 2027, Nigerians will reject you, PDP group tells Tinubu. Beside that story, petrol stations high price amid Dangote and NPCL dispute. The people always suffer when this happens. We do hope that they're able to resolve the issues. Rivers will emerge stronger from political crisis, says Fubara. We hope so. And before we round up on the Guardian newspaper today, I've helped 5,000 Nigerians, claims doctor in immigration scam. All right, I think we need a list for these 5,000 names. All right, moving away from that newspaper, let us take a look at the Daily Trust this morning. The Daily Trust also has the story, Uremi killings, Edo governor visit victims' families. With the rider, hunters insist on justice. Above that, immigration, CG gets tenure extension. Police rescue 21 kidnapped victims. Couple, 4 others die in Abuja-Lokoja road crash. Very unfortunate. And away from that, AFCON 2025, inside Golden Eaglets declining fortunes. We have more of that read on page 20, I think. I can barely see the number. Okay, mob beats suspected burglar to death. More jungle justice. PRP in spotlight as defectors rekindle debate on relevance. That's all on the Daily Trust this morning. Moving away from the Daily Trust newspaper, let us take a look at the Blueprint. The Blueprint newspaper this morning says, Kirby, Gombe, Katsina top as meningitis cases spread, 74 killed. That's on health. The 2 riders of the story, 807 case fatality rates reported across 22 states. NCDC expert alarmed, seek mass vaccination. Away from that screaming headline, amid environmental concerns, NIGCOMSAT plans a review of $6.03 billion divestments by LOCs. These are business stories. If you're interested in business, then this is your paper this morning. Okay, let us move on. Let us go now to the leadership newspaper this morning. The screaming headlines, killing of 16 hunters, Northern elders, JNI demand probe compensation. There are 3 riders. ask federal government to pay blood money to victims' families. Oranese seeks prosecution of killers. Okpawolo visits Kano, vows justice for victims. We have more story. In fact, the pictorial there on the front page, that is a cross-section of Katsina traditional rulers on horses. I can barely see, the fonts are small, but it's a beautiful pictorial this morning. Yes, all in the season of the celebration. Now, away from the pictorial, banks rake in 4.8 trillion naira profit in first year despite challenges. This also is a business story. Okay, let us move away. No, before we go on the leadership, just above the mast, Trump considers third-term presidential bid. The President of the United States of America will never stop to amaze everyone, especially me. And he says he's really serious about his intentions. Well, it's the United States of America. We're keeping our fingers and toes crossed as events unfold right there in that nation. And before we go, our delicate ones, ocean monarchs of a communal crisis. We already saw that story. We do hope that they heed the warnings and ensure that peace returns. Now, let us move on to the Daily Times this morning. The Daily Times says, BBC faces funding challenge as real income drops by £1 billion. That is huge, if you ask me. That's the scribbling headline on the Daily Times this morning. And above that story, oddity, families resort to buying sons Android phones to join Yahoo Boys business. Well, things are happening. 2 died, 20 injured in Gombe. Eid-El-Fitre prayer ground stampede. Another very sad story on our papers this morning. Away from that story, LP to use Anambra Guba election to test victory in 2027. Abure. Osun communal crisis. The delicate, telling monarchs. Well, this paper says he threatens the royal fathers with dethronement. I wouldn't really say it as a threat, as a call for peace. Tinubu extends tenure of immigration boss till 2026. These are the stories on the Daily Times this morning. Let us move on to the Tribune. The Tribune this morning is still on the Uromi killings. It says Uromi killings. Okpawolo visits Kano governor, promises justice for victims. Arrested 14 suspects to be moved to Abuja, he says. Kano governor demands suspects publicly paraded, fair compensation to families. Deputy Senate President demands justice. Above the mast, Kogi bars convoy public gatherings, rallies as Natasha visits constituency today. For me, you ask me, I just say they should leave this woman alone and let her be. That's my take. That's my take. Well, that's what the Tribune is telling us this morning. Kogi bars convoy public gatherings, rallies as Natasha visits constituency today. Remember, she did say she was going to have a homecoming today, but unfortunately, what we're getting on the front page of the Tribune this morning is going to cause some problems to her with, rallies. Obviously, she didn't get the permission to do what she wants to do. But if you ask, like I said, she should be left alone to be. Now, beside that story, how Rivers crisis may shape 2027 politics. If you love politics, then pick up the papers and read more. Tinubu extends Landap's tenure as immigration CG by 1 year. And just below Ifon Ilobu, in Osun crisis, a delicate threatens to dethrone monarchs of warring communities. So let us move on to the Daily Monitor. The Daily Monitor this morning, I'll continue to defend Rivers' interests, Fubara vows. There's a rider, says ongoing political crisis in state will ultimately strengthen the people rather than weaken them. So most of the stories we have on the Daily Monitor are the stories we have on other papers. So let us move on to the Daily Independent. Daily Independent this morning says rivers will emerge stronger from political crisis, Fubara assures. We still have the Edo killing story, 2027. Parish thought of retaining presidency, CP-PDP tells Tinubu. We've also seen that story in other papers. Then the Kogi ban on Natasha's homecoming is still on the Daily Independent this morning. Of course, Adelica's threat is still on the front page. There's a different story. Passenger demand grows 6.7% in Africa. IATA, that's on global traffic, increasing by 26%. All right, we still have more papers. Let us move on because of time. The Matrix. The Matrix also has the Uwomi story this morning. Uwomi killing, justice will be served, Okpaulo shows Kano governor. Crisis will strengthen River State, Fubara, and 2027, Niger Delta leaders Tempolo endorsed Tinubu for re-election. Of course, the Mamodo story. Mamodo condemns Tinubu's state of emergency in Rivers, calls it anti-democracy. Moving away from the Matrix, let us take a look at the Liberty this morning. The Liberty newspaper, Nigerians can now buy food without struggle, says Tinubu. I take a pause to let that sink in. Nigerians can now buy food without struggle, says Tinubu. We know that story. Lassa fever, 118 fever death, 645 cases recorded in 33 states. Will disinfect El-Rufai, others to stop them from polluting SDP. Debayo. All right. Global Rights condemns 16 hunters lynching in Edo. And above that, Rivers Chief of Staff alleges 5 billion naira bribe to impeach for Barra. You can get that on the Liberty. We have an entertainment story today, but let's go straight to the Punch. The Punch newspaper this morning is where we get our focus on this morning. It says Eid-El-Fitre low-key celebrations as Nigerians lament hardship. Traders lament low patronage. Citizens cut cost. PDP blames APC for economic woes. This is our focus as we celebrate Eid-El-Fitre. This is going to be our focus this morning on the press. And below that story, late Adebanjo made Obi's 2023 Lagos victory possible, says Abure. And in the middle, 32-year-old Nigerian declared missing by Canadian police. And beside that, communal clashes. Adeleke threatens to depose 3 monarchs. That story is still there. And just beside the mast, Naira for crude, federal government Dangote set for talks as refinery imports 12.6 million barrels. More of that read on page 21. So you can grab your Punch and have a field day. Let us round up with the showbiz gist this morning. Shola Allison responds to criticism over not mentioning Jesus in her songs. That's the main story. WizKid deletes all Instagram posts, sparking speculation. That's on the showbiz gist. We can take a look on the showbiz gist if we have that. Adesola Tommy Wellington reflects on a challenging motherhood journey. And finally, from the international scene, Kanye West declares Drake's influence far greater than Kendrick Lamar's in hip-hop. All right, that is our newspaper and weather report this morning. If you just joined us, it's the press. We'll take a short break, and when we return, our guests will be here, and of course, the conversation. Stay with us.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at Kaftan Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTAN TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
at Kaftan Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on Kaftan TV, imagine a beautiful world.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why.
Imagine a beautiful world. That's our slogan at Kaftan TV. Hello there, I am Ruben Okala. Hello, I'm glad to have you join us again on the news on the hour, reaching you live from our studio in the nation's capital.
And that has been the news. Many thanks for watching. My name is Fatima Abbas Hassan. I'm broadcasting Baba today.
I am Pyrian.
The politics of Lagos State is still very much in the hands of the leaders.
My name is Dayo Omogun. I've not done a change of name.
To Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network.
We always dish out beautiful material.
Imagine a beautiful world. That's our slogan at Kaftan TV. Hello there, I am Ruben Okala. Hello, I'm glad to have you join us again on the news on the hour, reaching you live from our studio in the nation's capital.
And that has been the news. Many thanks for watching. My name is Fatima Abbas Hassan. I'm broadcasting Baba today.
I am Pyrian.
The politics of Lagos State is still very much in the hands of the leaders.
My name is Dayo Omogun. I've not done a change of name.
To Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network.
We always dish out beautiful material.
Imagine a beautiful world. That's our slogan at Kaftan TV. Hello there.
Yes, welcome back. If you just joined us, it is The Press, and today is a special edition on the show. Before the break, I did tell you that our feature and focus on the show today is on Eid-El-Fitre, and of course, the low-key celebration as Nigerians lament hardship. There is a rider to that that's taken from the Punch newspaper. It says, traders lament low patronage, citizens cut cost as PDP blames APC for economic woes. This is our focus this morning. But before we begin, I have two lovely people with me to ensure we have a wonderful day. Let me begin with the beautiful lady looking all radiant this morning. My guest, Sharon Chairman. She is a social commentator as well as an analyst. She is a seasoned climate change leader with over 7 years experience spearheading higher impact projects that drive social change. Her work spans impactful campaigns, and she has collaborated with top organizations such as the US Embassy, EU, and the Federal Ministry of Environment and the Embassy of Sweden. Today on the show, The Press, she shall be joining us as a social commentator as well as analyst. It's so nice to have you, Sharon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Like your name, you're looking so regal.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we have another guest who is a friend to the house. You will know him as very feisty, very vibrant. Is Honorable Habib Gajo. Honorable Habib Gajo is an astute politician, a former presidential candidate in 2019, a political scientist, businessman, BBC expert, political and economic analyst, as well as a ruthless public affairs analyst. Habib, it's so nice to have you on the show today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So,
good morning.
Yes,
nice
my guests are looking so beautiful this morning. Like, I love to start the show. I know we have a lot to talk about, but the state of the nation, I would want to pick your mind on the state of the nation, how you see and feel Nigeria right now before we go into the nitty-gritty. And I'm going to start with Sharon. State of the nation, as a Nigerian, where are you?
Good morning once again. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. So I'll start by saying that there is nobody that will say that they are not feeling the impact of what's going on right now in any degree, whether you belong to the lower class, middle class, or upper class. You're feeling the hits in some way, and it's affecting every part of the society, from trade to even socialization to education. Every part of society is affected. So I would say I am also affected, but we are affected in different varying degrees, but everybody is affected directly or indirectly.
Interesting. So there you have it, Sharon's starting with a state of mind on the state of the nation. So I'm going to go to Habib to let us get a feel on the state of the nation right now. Habib, you're not looking happy at all. It is Eid-El-Fitre. You're not looking happy. Look, you're giving me my goodie bag today. So if you like, laugh. If you like, not laugh. So you're looking so melancholic today. I don't know why, but state of the nation, your take.
Yeah, well, I've never had this type of experience for a very long time. I think since when I was a student. I had an accident with my car, and the second one broke down.
The two cars?
Yes, so I became
careless.
That's how I start feeling how Nigerians are feeling. I felt so hard, so bad. I pity Nigerians. I spent almost 10 to 15,000 daily on transportation only. Daily.
So you, from that perspective, you now understood what the ordinary, common Nigerians go through on a daily basis.
It's sometimes if I look for a drop and it's too expensive for me, no, it's not supposed to be from let's say from Asokoro to say 5,000. I say, okay, let me join along. In front, 2 people. At the back, four people.
Little tin cars, very tiny cars.
Yes.
They squeeze in.
You like sardine. Or what they call geisha when we are in secondary school.
The boarding house.
Yes, you understand. So from there you see people trekking. You see, before you move from this from one point A to point B, you understand. And during Ramadan, the food was so expensive.
We'll get to that. At least we have a feel of what you're talking about this morning. We'll definitely get to that because, like I said, Eid-El-Fitre celebration, low-key celebration as Nigerians lament hardship. This is our focus this morning. We're taking a look, despite the celebration, how Nigerians are faring, during, before, during, and of course, before and now. We'll give you a perspective of how the future will look like. But we're going to take a look at this this morning. But first, let us take a look at the Eid-El-Fitre itself. My guest, Honorable Gajo, being on the show is no mistake. Is also a Muslim who took part in the 40 days of fasting, and of course he has lived his entire life celebrating Eid-El-Fitre. We want him to tell us a little bit about that. But from my own, the little that I was able to gather, let me reel with you. Now, Eid-El-Fitre is the festival of breaking the fast. That's what Eid-El-Fitre is. It is the first of the two main festivals in Islam, the other being Eid-al-Adha. It falls on the first day of the Shawwal, the 10th month of the Islamic calendar. Eid-el-Fitr is celebrated by Muslims worldwide because it marks the end of the month-long dawn to dusk fasting of Ramadan. Now, the holiday is known under various other names in different languages and countries around the world. I expected that we'll have visuals as we take on the Eid-el-Fitr, which we already have. But I want to ask that you tell us a little bit, as a Muslim, the importance of Eid-el-Fitr.
Yeah, let me use this word not as an important, as significant as it is. You understand? After concluding the 30 days Ramadan, you understand, moon was sighted. Then on the day of Eid-el-Fitr, we go to an open place, not inside a mosque, so in an open place. God said, outside the city. For example, in Abuja, you can go to, after City Gate. That's where the biggest one is happening. You understand? So we pray together, shoulder to shoulder. We recite the name of Allah, and we pray. We read Quran. You understand? And we do supplications and so on and so forth. You understand? So Eid-el-Fitr will not be mentioned as it is until you have those significance of it. During fasting, there is people that don't eat 3 times or 4 times or 2 times at once. Some they don't even have. You understand? So God said you should fast. You understand? So that you will feel the feelings of
the less privileged.
Yes. The ordinary people, the less privileged. You understand? You will share your food in your house to the people
around
you.
Okay.
More especially your neighbors. You understand? One. The second one is after there is Zakatul Fitr. You understand? where you will give raw food to charity. For example, maize, corn, rice, millet, whatever you have according to your affordability, you understand? Then you eat, you remove that type of food.
The lack from the less privileged.
Yes, and even children is not exempted from it.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
For example, I have 5 children. You understand? I will remove that Zakat-ul-Fitr with them. You understand? I have 5 children. This is the mood, or the quantity of my Zakat-ul-Fitr.
Okay.
And you take that food item to charity house, or if you know your neighbor, maybe you remove Zakat-ul-Fitr or rice, and you know your neighbor is not having rice, you understand, or you will not eat rice, then we share with him so that he too and his children
will partake.
Yes.
Okay.
And we wear new clothes on that day. You understand? So if you don't have, you wash you clean your old one and put it.
Yeah.
You mix along. So
yes.
Then the second part of it, the last part of it is there is a visitation. You visit people around you.
Okay.
You understand? You gather in a place or anywhere. For example, my cousins, my brothers, my cousin, they will come to visit me, and me too. I will go and visit my uncle. You understand?
So I can see the passion.
That's attachment.
Yes. But let us now go into our topic for today. It's interesting that you're giving us a foundation of what Eid-El-Fitre stands for. All that goes into Eid-El-Fitre, the sacrifices that goes into it. Inside all that you've talked about is that underlying sacrifice from fasting, for giving to the less privileged, fasting to feel the pains and pangs of the less privileged. But again, our focus today says the celebrations are low-key because Nigerians are lamenting the hardship in the country. That is what our focus is this morning. And if you go by the rider, traders also are lamenting a low patronage, citizens cut costs. PDP blames APC for economic woes. These are what we're taking a look at. But before we begin our conversation, we're going to take a package from the news department. And when we return, we will begin to discuss what we have today. So let us take that package, and when we return, we shall be taking a look at the low-key celebrations during the Eid-El-Fitre. Stay with us.
Nigeria's economic crisis has led to a staggering 31% increase in food prices, severely impacting the purchasing power of low-income individuals and resulting in inadequate nutrition and health issues. Several factors contribute to these pressing concerns, including low agricultural productivity, as Nigeria's agricultural sector faces challenges leading to reduced food production and increased reliance on imports. Currency devaluation. The devaluation of the naira has made imports more expensive, contributing to higher food prices and other commodities.
Economic in Nigeria is too bad. I can't hide my feeling. I'm not a pretender woman. Let me go straight to the point and tell you something. Everything in the market is very expensive. Goods, foodstuff, everything is cost. Let government help poor people here, poor masses. You understand? You can't buy groundnut oil. A bottle of red oil 2,000. Groundnut oil 3,000. A bag of crayfish 500,000, half a million. Cheapest crayfish is 500 naira, and there's no poor man can afford it. Talking about rice, they say rice is drop. Rice is 85,000. Correct big bowl, not a rebargain. It's 85,000. You're talking about beans. A mundo of beans is 2.5. Where is it, Gary? Is it red? Is it white? Indomie super pack 15,000. Ordinary one, small one 10,000. Onions 11,000. Everything in the market very expensive. Let government help us. You understand? People dying. Nigeria is suffering and smiling. You understand? Let them help poor people. Let them bring goods down. Let dollar drop. If the dollar and fuel drop, everything will be normal.
Sellers across various markets are voicing their concerns about the devastating impact of inflation on their businesses and sales. With prices of essential commodities soaring, many are struggling to stay afloat.
Well, with the high increase of everything, especially the PMS, which is the petrol, you know, goods has been very expensive in the market, and the turnout for demand has become very low. And with the way things are increasing by the tax, maybe before you buy 100 naira recharge card, you can use it for 11 minutes, but today when you buy 100 naira recharge card, you use it for 3 minutes. So you find that people are finding it difficult to even live. So what we are looking at is, let government do something. Let government come to the east of the masses, so that we can be able to live a better life as it was before.
We thank God, first of all, for life, because God has been so good to us till now. We are coping now in the sense that things are beginning to drop. Not like towards that December period. I deal on food, I sell zakara. So then we bought bag of beans, 230,000. Then we buy groundnut oil, 100 and something thousand. So but now we are buying bag of beans at the rate of 120, and we are buying oil at the rate of 82,000.
Consumers too are feeling the pinch as many households struggle to afford basic daily meals. The ripple effects of inflation are being felt across the nation, with both sellers and consumers calling for urgent solutions to stem the tide of rising prices and revitalize the economy.
People supposed to come plenty, but nobody is coming because no money, no ego. You can imagine that. So if everything is cheap, everybody will be entering market, they will be buying, will be happy, everybody will be selling. You understand? So we talk to Tinubu to help us.
Everything is getting out of hand in Nigeria. See bag of rice. See bag of rice. How much do they sell them now?
Then Tinubu to do something about Nigeria, because Nigeria suffering. Look at Semu before 6,000 naira, now it's 17,500. Has to do something because people hungry in Nigeria.
By intervention, they called on the government to help alleviate the burden of inflation on businesses and individuals, ultimately promoting economic recovery and growth. Victoria Ayomide, reporting for KAFTAN TV.
Yes, welcome back. It is the press. There you have it. We're starting with the report on the soaring food prices, the standard of living in Nigeria, which is our focus this morning on the Eid-El-Fitre celebration. As I said, local celebrations as Nigerians lament hardship. To kickstart our discourse this morning, we shall be starting with Sharon. Sharon, you saw the package, and of course, we're trying to merge that with what is going on in the nation vis-a-vis the celebration of the Eid-El-Fitre. A lot of us can actually trace the skyrocketing prices of foods, and not just food as it were, fuel prices to May 27th, 2024, after the subsidy was removed by the President Tinubu himself, and ever since the story has been different. I would really want you to start as we take a look at Nigeria in terms of skyrocketing food prices and of course the situation right now.
Okay, so I love that you traced it back to when the fuel subsidy was removed, because that affected everything from transportation, and once transportation is affected, every other thing is involved as well. I mean, Mr. Habib mentioned spending 10 to 15,000 naira every single day on transportation, right? When transportation is high, people who are transporting food from one part of the country to another part of the country, they increase their prices. Once their prices are increased, when it gets to the market, people that buy to sell, they also increase their prices, and it just creates a ripple effect. So for me, the first subsidy removal created a ripple effect, and food is actually one of the most important, the three requirements: food, shelter, and clothing. And when food is affected, every other thing is also affected. Your purchasing power. I mean, the first thing most people say, oh, their salary goes towards transportation to work and then food. Those are the two major things, transportation and food, and both are affected directly by the fuel subsidy. So it has been a downhill journey since then. And it's very evident, especially during this fasting. I've never seen so many people, waiting outside. There are some places I passed in Abuja. I saw that they were sharing maybe iftar or sahur. I mean, this is not my first time living in Abuja, but I've never seen that amount of people waiting to get free, free food. Like, the number was overwhelming. You pass some places and you almost think maybe something is happening. When you get there, realize, oh, it's food that people are waiting for. I've never seen that kind of number before in all my years of living in Abuja. And to be very honest, in every part of the economy there is an effect, but I think food is the most obvious one, because you literally cannot survive. You can't survive without food. Those in the urban areas, those even in the rural areas, are also complaining about the prices of food, the prices of transportation. Everything is affected. And the major thing I would say is that the purchasing power. So before, even those in the upper or the middle class could say, okay, things are expensive, but at least I have 15 million, or I have a budget of 450,000 naira for food every month. That 450,000 that you need to take maybe hillocks to the market to bring. Now you can go with just one bag, and you come back and you'll be wondering, did somebody cheat me in the market? But nobody cheated you. Your purchasing power has gone down because the food prices are escalating very, very quickly. So yeah, from the fuel subsidy, I think that's if we are trying to point fingers at anything, it will have to be the fuel subsidy that skyrocketed every other thing that we're experiencing right now.
Now, before I bring in the honorable to chip in, because he's going to have his day, on the dailies we read where Tinubu actually said that the purchasing power has increased. The Nigerians are buying, they're buying food, and it seems to it's for me, it's not a reflection of what you as a Nigerian on the street will talk about. It's different what the president is saying right now. I just want you to help balance what we got from the front pages of the papers today, a statement credited to the president, and of course what you're saying vis-a-vis the video, the package or the report that was shown.
Okay, so I'll start by saying I'm shocked to hear that the president said the purchasing power is increasing, because I think if you go on the street and ask 5 people if their purchasing power has increased or reduced, 4 out of the 5 would say the opposite. And from the package that we saw, I mean, if you are speaking for Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians are higher population than the privileged ones. If the larger population are saying that their purchasing power is reducing, then that is what the reality is. I mean, people who before, for instance, my best friend is a Muslim, and the third point that Mr. Habib mentioned about, the family, the visitation, I know that every year, unfailingly, no matter what happens, the entire family travels back to their hometown just to, celebrate with their family. And this year, not even one person. So it started gradually. So last year, only the mom could go, and then this year, nobody could go, not because they didn't want to, spend the celebration with their family, but because when you calculate the amount of money you are going to spend to travel all the way to your hometown, and then you can't go empty-handed, you go, you share things with them, and then you compare it to what will be left coming by the transportation, is just almost not worth it. So I don't think that the reality for many Nigerians is that their purchasing power has increased. Now, you may say some people's salaries or income has increased, but the thing is, if I'm earning 1 million naira per month now, it's 2025 compared to someone who was earning maybe 800,000 last year. Both of us are almost on the same level. I may even be worse because what their 800,000 naira could get them last year, my 1 million naira may not be able to get this year. So he may be right by saying, okay, maybe salaries are increasing or people are selling more.
He didn't even say that. He didn't say anything about salary, that Nigerians can now afford food easily.
But from the news package we saw, we spoke to real people in the street, and they are saying that is not the reality. So I don't know where that data is coming from the general public that I know. If you ask 5 people, 4 will tell you that their purchasing power is either stagnant or has gone below the norm.
But now, still, peeking from what the president said about Nigerians being able to afford food, this is where the Honorable comes in, and I actually have statistics to back up that claim, because most times as journalists or a researcher, when you go online to do your research, you get documentation, you get data telling you that things are getting better, inflation has dropped, but when you get to the people on the street and you try to merge the report or the data you get online with the reality on the street, it's always very different. And imagine Nigeria's annual inflation rate dropped to 23.18% in February 2025. That's data that I got today. And when I got the data, I tried to, balance it with the package. That's why the package had to go, so people will see its lowest level since June 2023, from 24 to 48% in January. Meanwhile, food inflation eased to 23.51%. Marking its lowest rate since September 2022. We're talking about 2025, compared to 26.08% in the previous month. The decline in inflation is primarily attributed to a technical adjustment in the previous month. Now, what I'm asking, Honorable, is you heard what Sharon said, and of course what the president said. The papers are saying inflation is coming down. The papers are saying that there is an improvement in the standard of living. The papers, as the president has said, Nigerians are able to afford food compared to other times. These are the reports and the data that we get. Then again, when we're trying to balance this, the blame game somehow creeps into it, for the PDP blaming the APC for economic woes. Again, the APC will tell you when they came or when they took over from the PDP government, there was this, there was that, and it has been back and forth, and yet Nigerians are still in the situation that they are. I would like you to balance it. Maybe you see the data, you see differently from you agree with the data, and of course what the president is saying and what is happening on the streets.
Well, first of all, let me start from the Mr. President, who dish out this type of information that people, Nigerians, can now afford what? You understand? When you say Nigerians can afford food, how? In which sense? You understand? Now, I know from where he's coming from. You understand? Let them twist all the English. They will twist or blow a big English grammar and vocabularies to tell us that inflation has done this and that. The simple issue is Mr. President is banking on the food importation and the waivers of food importation into Nigeria. You understand? For opening that corridor, he thought that has brought down the price. You understand? Secondly, the data they generate, that all Nigerians are saying they don't know where they got that data. Last 2 weeks, I think, the central bank had an MPC meeting where they told us that our inflation has dropped to 23% from 40-something%, more especially food inflation that rose to 44% You understand? In the first quarter and last year, and today they're telling us it's 23, and the inflation rise and the lending rate are going hand in hand. So why didn't they reduce or reduce the lending rate? You understand? The lending rate still stood at 27.75%. So how comes? So maybe that is why the economy is not working. They are using wrong data and the physical reality on ground. The monetary policy will tell you everything. Tinubu is a physical aspect of it because he's from the executive. The central bank is from a monetary policy. So maybe they are not working together, or they are not their survey and the data they generate. Maybe somebody sat down somewhere and wrote that data and posted it. It may be that kind of it. You understand? Because if you go down to the street where Nigerians are living, you now understand. You will see poverty with your kuro eyes. Nobody will tell you. You understand? Now, for PDP to blame APC, the whole Nigerians blame APC government because they came with change mantra. They thought we are suffering during PDP. They thought our economy is going down. Now let me give you some short analysis where you will understand not only PDP that criticize, and even if PDP criticize, they criticize in a right way. You understand? One, during PDP, if you take the salary of public servant and private, you understand? Private sector, 35% minimum wage. At that time, how much is bag of rice? 6,000, 7,000. Highest, maximum. Rice is 7,000, 6,000. You understand? Now, if you remove 6,000 naira and bought a bag of rice, it will take you and your family maybe 2 to 3 months, and you have another balance of 20-something thousand. And in that 20-something thousand, you can afford to fuel your car full tank, and let's say the full tank to fill your tank at the rate of 87 naira where PDP left it. You understand? You will now arrive at something like 18 to 15,000 naira to fill your tank. You still have another balance to save. You understand? If you are paying house rent, or you are in a low-cost area or a government housing estate, you understand? What you are paying maybe is less than 5% of your salary. You understand? Or 6%. Healthcare, maybe 6%. If you calculate all that, you will still have a saving of up to 10,000 to 6,000 naira. That in any emergency in your house or in your family, you can be able to solve some certain issues in maybe in 1 month. You can use a salary of January, you understand, to pay all your bills and February you can save it, and March, you understand, you can divide it into 2 and add to your...
So what you're saying now that saving culture has been eroded completely, is that what you're trying to point out?
Yes, so when APC government came in with their change mantra, where Buhari told Nigerians that what they call spaghetti then is 100 naira,
75 naira and 75 naira, depends on the one you're buying.
Yeah, he now brainwashed all Nigerians that PDP flunked Nigeria into this.
I want Sharon.
Today, Buhari came and removed subsidy. You understand?
Tinubu.
No, Buhari started removing the subsidy. You know, when Jonathan went to remove it, they did occupy Nigeria. You understand? So Jonathan did not have opportunity to remove the subsidy. So Buhari came and removed the subsidy to 1,447 naira. In that 147 naira, the government of Buhari went through backdoor and continued paying subsidy till the end of his government. The last day of his government, he rose the price to 180 naira, 90 naira in some places. You understand? So Tinubu inherited that. You understand? But Tinubu, President Tinubu need to sit down and look at the economy holistically and look at where our strength is. You understand? Maybe from the point of production, transportation, that's logistics, then to any other issue that affect the economy, whether politically or economically, socially, and otherwise. You understand? But he just
let me get Sharon's reaction on the things that we've said, especially on the fact that Nigerians, everything we do in the country is based on the rise and fall of the dollar. We need to take a look at that also. We talk about the place of the federal government in situations that we face as a nation. Again, what is the role of Nigerians as citizens to the situation on ground? You go to the market to buy agbalumo, to buy oranges that are grown in our backyards, onions from the north, watermelon. You can barely afford those. These are crops that we grow here. Tomatoes, the aboki will tell you, Madam, you know, say dollar don't rise. Now, the Honorable has told us, given us a view of the government side, in my own understanding, talking about the blame game between the PDP and the APC. But again, let us take a look at how we, Nigerians, as the people themselves, actually escalates the situation. Again, I'm using that. The only thing I can really pinpoint right now is the dollar situation, where our life seems to revolve around that currency, even though that is not the legal tender in the nation. Everything is affected by it, and that too has caused prices to skyrocket. This is part of the investigation that we've gotten. I really want your reaction to that.
Okay, I really love that question because, like we say, who are Nigerians? Is you and I, right? And I love the example that you gave. Something that is planted in the backyard, someone will still tell you that it's the dollar rate. You know, I feel that sometimes we blame the government a lot, but I understand where that's coming from. This is an entire circle, right? So there's this thing where like in boarding school, you are bullied when you're in JS1, so you promise that when you get to that place, you too will bully the next person, and then it continues until one person decides to break the circle. So those people who are in leadership positions, they were once ordinary citizens like us, and some of them may feel, oh, I suffered when I was it's nice, my turn to enjoy, and it keeps on going like that and so now for we the citizens, I would say that there's really no much difference between the citizens and the leaders. The only position that we don't have, the only difference is we don't have the position and the authority, because you see someone taking advantage of every little situation on the grassroots level. Some of the most corrupt leaders that I have personally seen on the grassroots level, not even the Fed. No one think of corruption leadership. Everybody thinks of the president, people in the National Assembly. You forget that there's local government chairman, there's even people. Let me give you a very funny example. In my area, they're trying to reconstruct the road, make it new and everything. And so they had to create another path, an alternative route where we could pass. And I remember one day I got back home around past 9 p.m. and they had blocked the place. They said, oh, to pass this road you have to pay 200 naira per passenger. So if you're on the bike and you guys are two, you have to pay 400 naira to pass. I'm like, the transport from that point to my house is actually 400 naira. So if I want to pay, so I'm paying an extra 200. If you have to get home, I have to pay an extra 200. Why? Because the government is building a road and then citizens say no for you to pass. And I'm asking, what exactly are you collecting the money for? And they say no. Okay, if one of them told me, oh, I should be speaking English when I'm ready to go home, I will answer. And I was so shocked. I said, this road is for all of us. It's not your money they are using. The government is building the road. You created an alternative road and you blocked the place and you said your fellow citizens must pay to get home. So imagine that kind of person giving a position tomorrow, maybe local government chairman, or to go represent in the House of Assembly. The same behavior they will carry it from there. So sometimes we like to hide under the cover of and the government is not doing it. Some of our fellow citizens, what we do to each other, you go to a private office or you meet a private business owner, when you see the way they treat their fellow citizens, you realize that if this person gets an opportunity to go to government, the same thing they are complaining about. And that's one thing I'm going to say. Most Nigerians, what they call corruption is only because it's not benefiting them. Once we get to a place where it's benefiting us, we say, oh, it's connection or it's my turn. It's my time to show other people have enjoyed me too. Let me pack the money. Because this dollar thing, but you ask, I once asked a trader, why do you guys keep on when the dollar reduces or the fuel price comes out, why don't you also reduce? Okay, because it's not stable. So if I go to the market, I buy something when it's 150 and then it's time for me to sell and the price has dropped to 100, you don't expect me to sell at a lower price. Because if I want to go and restock, I may not. So I also understand from that point of view, because you can look up to the dollar has gone down before you rejoice and make any decision. You look up again, come up again. So they also cannot decide the fluctuation, because by the time they go back to restock, also the person selling to them to will not say, oh, when you were coming the dollar had gone down. So you have to understand. For me, this Nigerian problem, everybody has to take their own blame. That's the only way we can work together. I cannot keep on saying it's the government. In your own personal capacity, how are you also, being a good citizen? So it's a balance, and the government has their role to play. We the citizens also have to realize that most of us, we are just complaining because we are not benefiting. Once you get to that position, the same character exhibiting as an ordinary citizen, you exhibit it as a leader.
Okay, if you just joined us, it is the press. Our phone lines will open right about now, so you can call in and be part of the conversation this morning. Please let us showcase the phone lines on screen. There you have it. The phone lines are there. Please call in and be part of the conversation this morning. I'm expecting your calls. All right, so you have Sharon Tellers. So Honorable Sharon has said that corruption, this thing called corruption, can be traced to the grassroots, that corruption in the grassroots is even worse than you have up in the corridors of power. And again, the word corruption, the cry and the heal is the loudest when Nigerians or the person is not benefiting from corruption. But as soon as it benefits a section or a group or a person, then it's a different story. I will want your take on that, balancing it with the hardship in the nation. Okay, we have a call. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kogi.
From where? From Kogi?
Yes.
Okay, please, go ahead.
Okay. What is happening to our nation is because government to another. And that is something I'm very sorry to report you who are losing us. You could see that you know.
This line is not.
Go ahead. Okay. The line is broken. We can barely get. Please, can you call back again? Please call back again. Please call back. All right, we could barely hear what a guest caller was saying. Please call in and be part of the show this morning, and so we can have your views. So please ask the question. I would want your reaction.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Sharon did very well in analyzing how we got there, maybe from the ladder, you understand, from down to up or from bottom to up, you understand. But I really understood from where she's coming from, you understand. As a student of political science and political economy, Professor Claude Aki wrote in his book that politics is not the improvement of the economy or economic development or one. Now, if you go down into it, he gave example of so many countries that are in democratic dispensation or democratic nations or advanced countries, but the politics has not shaped the economy. You understand? So who are the movers and shakers of the economy? Is we the stakeholders. You understand? Sharon, I would like to tell you, there is a systematic corruption. There is different type of corruption. There is what even they call gifts as corruption. You understand?
Sorry, I think we have a call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, presenter.
Yeah, what's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
This is Murtala. I'm calling from Rigasa, Kaduna State of Nigeria.
Please go ahead, Murtala.
And also good morning to your guests.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I saw one of your paper or newspaper that brought the issue of the innocent killing of the Oromi.
Okay.
We strongly condemn the killing of the innocent travelers, and also the Oromi community, they have to do something about it. Although I saw their governor yesterday in the Kano State, he did a wonderful job, and that is the kind of the governor we want, that when something happens in his state, he should take action quickly. That is the issue of the killing of the innocent people. And also in terms of the hardship, people are suffering. You see, government will come and say the inflation is coming down. They are selling maybe one mudu of rice, maybe 2,400. Only 200 naira that they removed from the price. You know that something is not coming down again. The government should do something about it. And you see, it is true. We must say kudos to PDP, because at that time, PDP, with their 16 years in government, they added only 5,000 in a bag of rice. That is the resume office. That time, bag of rice is 3,500 naira. They ended their government, bag of rice is 8,000. You see, that's 5,000. But with first year of Muhammadu Buhari, they added almost 30,000 in one bag. That's what we are telling the APC government. They have to do something. Honestly speaking, what they are doing, I think it's just something they are not thinking of their people, the masses. So they have to amend and rectify their mistake. That is my comment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have that there. So go on, Honorable.
in systematic corruption, the impact will go maybe down the ladder, like Sharon analyzed it. But the issue is, how did we get into fall into corruption trap? You understand? Now, all of the sudden, as a soldier, as a military man, you understand, became an administrator, minister, governor, and so on and so forth, and he became rich overnight. When you elect a politician, he went there and became a rich overnight. And you now look at the downtrodden and said, they are also corrupt. You understand?
Now we're rounding up, Honourable, but as we round up, I don't know if we can take a call as we round up, because we've been told we don't have enough time.
So
okay, we missed that call.
The political economy need to move, need to be.
Hello? Sorry, Honourable. Hello? Good morning. We don't have time on the show anymore. Just briefly, what you just tell us what you want to say, and that's it.
Hello?
Go on.
Hello?
Go on.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go on. Go on.
Yes, I just come from Yobe State. I'm come from Yobe State.
Go on.
Yes, I thank you for what you are saying. I'm telling you honestly that things are very hard for people. Very, very hard. You cannot be able to function our mouth. Things are very hard. PDP will not go to 18 years. 18 years is never the kind of problem we are seeing today. So only 8 years, people are doing it, but we are suffering so much. People are dying, go to hospital and see people, go to other places and see people. Children are dying every day. Hunger everywhere. There's no way. So please, I'm just making present to calm down and just let them not tell us why that things are going down. Things are not going down at all.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's all we can take on the show this morning. We've been told that we don't have time anymore. Honourable, I'm so sorry. Before the cut us off, I want to thank my guest for making it to the show this morning. Sharon, I appreciate you for being on the show, and of course, Honourable Gajo. And to our Muslim faithful, we do say happy celebrations, Eid-El-Fitre celebration, and stay out of trouble. Enjoy the rest of the day. From me, Annie Benitier, bye for now.
So
this is